lights are green and all system go. It's another lovely Tuesday evening right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. It's time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio Ground Zero, the program where we pick up topical issues in the polity, and on the program we analyze them for everybody to have a say and a clearer understanding of these issues. Today on the program Ground Zero, it's not going to be different, as we will be looking at these trending issues. Yes, over the past few weeks, so many things have happened in the country, and which has pitched different parts of the country against itself. And also comments and situations are happening all around, and people are getting involved in all of this. And on today's program, what the items that we'll be looking at and analyzing are things that has been happening in around security and peace building in the country. You'll recall that some weeks ago there was some crisis in Oyo State, and as a result of that, just over the weekend, feelers coming in from the border between the north and the south, the border roads, there were major blockade of food, and this became a source of concern for many people. The president also made comment in respect of adoption in schools in Nigeria, and of course, popular Nigerian cleric also made some comments about journalists, which journalists have come out to condemn. These are broadly what we'll be looking at on the program today. But first, I'll tell you details of the snipers. Blockade of food to the south will complicate economy and political problems, ACF is saying, and urges the unions to halt the embargo. And also we have in and around security, President Muhammadu Buhari is saying that the Jangebe adoption will be the last and the third and not the last. NUJ is coming out blazing, saying that NUJ says journalists are not criminals and condemn Gumi's remark. These are the snippets of what we'll be looking at on the program today. My guest, I have a veteran journalist and media strategist, Eddie Ochibo. Eddie, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahis, for having me. My greatest regards to the listening public.
I also have with me a good governance advocate here in the studio talking about Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. He's from the Coalition of Association for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CALPED. Danjuma, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahis, for having me, and my greetings to the listeners.
Okay, and you, the listener, I would say, would also have the opportunity of joining this conversation by going to our various social media platforms. Go to the Invicta FM Facebook page where you see the live video streaming right away. There you can add your comment and let us know what you feel about any of these topics. You can also go to the Invicta FM Twitter handle or Instagram handle at Invicta FM 989. And of course, for the program specific handle, it's Ground 0247. Ground 0247. These are all, these are all platforms where you can add your voice to our conversation this lovely evening. So let's look at details of what the snippets we listened to earlier. The Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, has called on the leadership of the Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers to put a halt to their so-called embargo and blockade. The statement said Nigeria is not at war with itself, and as such, a drastic action is necessary, the forum has said. Chief Audu Odbe, National Chairman, ACF, said today that the ACF shared the concerns of Nigerians over the decision of the Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers to stop movement of needed food from the north to the south. Also, the movement is also responsible. Most of the foodstuffs were diverted to Chad and Cameroon, and farmers are already crying and complaining. Unconfirmed report says that conservatively, farmers have lost over 10 billion naira, as Chad and Cameroon also has these items in abundance, and the farmers are selling at a loss. Okay? And the statement from Arewa Consultative Forum concluded that the extreme measure is not progressive and even counter-progressive. This is not the way to go. All right, from the second sniper, here are the details of the second sniper. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that the last Friday abduction of female students from Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, will be the last to happen. The president's statement was relayed on Sunday through Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, who led a high-powered federal government delegation to sympathize with the people and government of Zamfara State. He said new measures have been deployed by the federal government, which would bring complete end to all forms of criminality in the nation. Still quoting him, he said the president is saddened by the abduction of the students from Jangebe and reassures you that the government has all the resources and wherewithal to contain these criminals. Okay, we'll leave that at that. And let's look at the response of the governor of Zamfara State to that. He said the governor, Matawale, appreciated Buhari and the federal government's concern, noting that very soon the adoptees would regain freedom. And indeed, they have regained freedom. Okay, we'll look at the third item that we have today, which is the Nigerian Union of Journalists has condemned in the strongest term the remarks made on Arise TV last Wednesday by Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi, where he labeled Nigerian journalists as criminals for calling bandits criminals, saying he do not see any correlation between journalism and criminality. Sheikh Gumi said, you are emphasizing on criminality. I don't know. Even the press, journalists are criminals too because they are putting oil into fire. That's quoting him directly. These people are listening to you. Don't address them as criminals. It is instructive to note that one of the gangs that was recently interviewed by Nigerian journalist Abdulaziz and published in Daily Trust of today, where the bandit leader insisted on being introduced properly as Kachala Halilu Sububu Seno, leader of all terrorists. He is the leader, yet Malam Gumi insists they are not criminals. This unnecessary and unprovoked attack on members of the media by a Hidedo respected cleric who decided to embark on strange errands is unacceptable, and it is becoming clearer now that he is pursuing a different agenda. We equally recall a recent statement credited to Sheikh Gumi where he was inciting bandits by encouraging religious biases among soldiers on the battlefield. We are more shocked that the same Sheikh who has used the media to speak to leaders and to advance the cause of his mission to the bandits across the Northwest is at the same time attacking the journalists for simply describing bandits as criminals. Sheikh Gumi's attempt to seek amnesty for killers and abductors of innocent citizens, especially school children, is most unfortunate. We invite Sheikh Gumi to explain to Nigerians why, despite his recent negotiation with bandits in Zamfara State, the criminals have continued maiming, killing, raping, and kidnapping innocent citizens, including the 300 female students just abducted in the same state. In Sena claims Sheikh Gumi, a non-state actor involved in negotiation with criminal elements, should have been behind bars. But alas, thanks to the weakness of our leaders, he continues with his reckless comments and foray into bandit territory unabated. By insulting the press as criminals, Sheikh Gumi has exposed himself the more as an intolerant person who will not want his activities closely scrutinized by the media. It is instructive to remind Sheikh Gumi that by embarking on such an errand and choosing to speak for the bandit, the press will continue to scrutinize his activities and also hold him accountable for his actions as enshrined in the Constitution. His reaction was totally unacceptable, dishonorable, and reprehensible, and we demand the retraction of his untoward, irritating, and awkward utterances, which negate simple decorum and civility. We therefore caution him to remember that Riding the tiger might be an exhilarating experience, but the consequences are bound to be unpleasant. He should thus be guided. We equally invite the global community to document the utterances and actions of Sheikh Gumi and to hold him to account for any bandit-related mishap that may happen to journalists around the country. This is a statement coming from the national president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Chris Isiguzo. Well, you've had it. Let's go straight into talking, and we'll start from the first item that we have with us this evening, which is a blockade imposed by an association. Also recall that the leadership of the association has been invited by the DSS to also explain what is happening. But generally, Eddie, we'd like to have your take on this particular item, blockade of foodstuff and cattle from the north to the south.
Thank you very much, Ahis. It's unfortunate that we have reached this level, and we have been shouting and crying foul, this. Look at the situation we find ourselves today. And yet, I've not seen a proactive move by the federal government. Rather, it's non-state actors that are actually issuing, statements, to reverse that trend. And you can hear the predicament of even the people, the farmers who are, diverting the distance to Cameroon and Chad and this. They are giving it away, at a giveaway price of maybe less than, and they'll be losing maybe more than 50% of their produce.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it not being penny wise, pound foolish? And we do not blame some of this because the system, our political elite, have heated up the system. The politics is heated up. We have not been able to get a clear picture of leadership, how the leadership is containing some of these, unusual happenings in the country. And so, to that extent, I think it's good that the DSS is stepping into it to ask them questions. Who authorized this? Do you have modus operandi? How do you operate? Do you just operate on your own? Are you independent of government? Does government have anything to do with how you operate, and so on and so forth? So, to me, I think it's not the way to go. Irrespective of our situation today, there should be what will unite us rather than what will divide, because we are on the brink of disintegration. And if we allow ourselves to disintegrate this way, it will not help us. And people keep talking about, Nigeria is going their own way, people, balkanization of Nigeria. That will be the greatest, tragedy in the world, because no country can hold us as refugees. There's no country, even America, no word. So it will just become a dog-eat-dog situation where we end up being cannibals and all this. So those who are drumming for what will divide us, I want to advise them that, look, they should help government. Government seems to be overwhelmed.
Okay. And
then seem to have run out of ideas on how things should go, especially the security situation.
Okay.
And so I let the people see their swords and see how they can encourage the government to put us on the right path, because right now Nigeria is on the brink.
All right. I come to Danjuma Abbas. Blockade of foods to south. What's your take on this, and how is it going to impact on the quality of life of the citizens?
Well, currently we've heard about the lamentations from traders who have claimed to have lost so far in less than in a week or so, 10 billion naira.
Yeah.
How much more is the loss for a farmer? How much more is the loss for the household that depends on this venture to eke out a living? You see, the truth of the matter is that the attempt by some people in the north to politicize the security situation in Nigeria is indeed unfortunate. This thing did not start. This thing did not happen first from southern parts of Nigeria. We were managing a northeast security situation and tension, and now it has spread. Now, I mean, besides Borno State in the northeast, Kaduna is the second in terms of highest number of killings happening as a result of insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, maiming, name them. We're even talking about just the numbers of killings, not the other challenges that come with insecurity. And it is beginning to spread and is exporting down to the south. I believe responsible citizens who have the interest of this nation at heart will rather be also contributing majorly towards seeing how the Nigerian state is able to surmount this challenge by their own contribution. Okay. But bringing about more poverty to rural farmers, increasing the level of inflation across Nigeria, and in fact, you need to know how much fertilizers cost. I'm talking now not for these traders who have decided as middlemen to meddle with the supply chain and production of these farmers. You know, I'm talking about the farmers particularly who are now buying fertilizers, NPK at nothing less than 7,700 or 900 naira if you consider and factor transportation and what have you. Some people are even buying at 8,000 naira and above. And then they are farming, cultivating these perishables only for middlemen to begin to play around and depreciating the price on these livelihoods and households that are dependent on this is unfortunate. We have an insecurity challenge in this country. What we should do as citizens at all times is to close ranks on these challenges that are facing us as a people and provide solutions and meaningful engagements that can help, nip this thing at the bud. But we're not doing that. Rather, we're playing ostriches. We're playing the ostrich, and I'm talking now from Kaduna here that I see the Nigerian state as one that is beginning to take sides around who is a criminal, what is criminality. I'm beginning to, because we saw it during the NSAS protest. We saw people who don't want to agree that these things are really happening on our streets, and now we are seeing it in a situation where rural dwellers are afraid that their women will be raped if they go to farm. They are afraid that they will be killed when they step into their farm to cultivate. And the challenge of food insecurity is glaring at us in the face. And whether we like it or not, no matter how much our government is able to make out of all of this economy as we have it today, it is not able to cater for even the humanitarian crisis we have in the country, not to mention the situation where anarchy is let loose on this land. One of the key issues that have been of contention in Nigerian state from inception till, especially from the inception of this government in 2019, is the issue of unity. 2019.
Okay.
Because at 2015 we had security, corruption, and the economy as priority. For me, in 2019, what we are having is managing the unity of this nation, given its kind of diversity. And it is important at this material point in time, if the leadership of the presidency is not able to show leadership, let us see something come out from our National Assembly. That is the representation of the people. If they cannot feel the pulse of the Nigerian people, then we are having bad representation. Because as it is for us as citizens today, that is where the buck is lying. Nigerians need each other, irrespective of religion, creed, and regionalism. We must understand that without the South, the North cannot survive. And without the North, the South cannot survive. And there is no in between. I will not even want to agree to this issue of being North or South. I have remained steadfast that Nigeria is one. It's either you are a Nigerian or you are not. So it is even time for us to begin to check the credentials of the people who are bringing instability to our country, whether they are indeed citizens of this country or they are actually coming from without, because we have created the space for them to operate and undermine our sovereignty. Thank you.
All right. The program is Ground Zero right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. Let's quickly take these messages and we'll be right back right here on the program. Ground Zero. Welcome back from that commercial time out. The program is still Ground Zero right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. Before we went on that commercial break, we talked about the food blockade from the north to the south, how farmers are coping, the impact on the citizenry and even the economy. And right now we'll be moving to the next item on our shift here this afternoon, which is security, where the president has come out to say the Jangebe abduction will be the last. That's what the president has said. And do we see the president doing the work, walking the talk, or what's your general impression? And how would this impact on the morale of those our security agents that are out there fighting hard to bring all of this under control? Eddie.
Thank you so much, Ahiz. Well, me, I take it with very, very philosophical calmness about the issue. It's a great statement to make. And I also take it with cautious optimism. You know, when you make such statements, you know, and the reality on ground is serious trust deficit, you know, between the people and the government. The government has lost serious trust. The people do not trust government. So you see that the people will take it with a pinch of salt.
Are you not being, is it not a blanket cover the people? Some people, not everybody. There's some people that still trust the president.
Most.
No, maybe we'll say many that you know.
Many. You're trying to protect your job now, many, but
yes, you are protecting. No, I mean, I'm just doing that which is right.
No, I know.
You cannot say everybody does.
No, I didn't say everybody.
Okay.
When you say people, it's like many.
Why you say people?
Yeah, people. You don't say all. You didn't say all Nigerians. Say people.
Some people.
Well, some people, many.
Let's
I'll be on this writing thing for a long time. So when I say people, I mean many or most or whatever. There's very, very serious trust deficit. So it's a very good comment coming from the president. We wish that he walks the talk and it will not just be a mere statement because in the first instance, that statement came from his, lieutenant, who represented him in Zamfara.
Yeah.
So they may have written it and then tell the president, this is what we said, see how you can work towards it, which is not the best. So I take it with a pinch of salt and we pray strongly that let this be the last. But if it is not the last, it will deepen the trust deficit already on ground. So I think that for the president to have or his people to have said that, they know what they are. When the blind man,
so let's
so they're stepping on a very big stone that will scatter our head. So I don't know whether these people have stepped on something that we don't know. But what is on ground does not look like that. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I want to say that I'll take it with philosophical calmness and cautious optimism.
All right, Danjuma Abbas.
Well, let's at this moment commend the efforts of some state governments around nipping this challenge at the bud, because the armed forces have done so well in trying to do the needful. In some parts of Kaduna State, it has reduced, but our position is still not good because it is a negative effect for us as far as our economy, the attraction that we want to be, around foreign direct investment, even with the infrastructure development that we are having. But when you consider states who are having dialogue with criminals who ransack communities and trying to come out and give excuses for why they do what they do, and trying to roll out a kind of an amnesty plan for these people, it's a thing of worry. The unfortunate situation where school facilities have become the primary targets of these people who are contesting the sovereignty of the Nigerian state from the Nigerian people, because that's how I see it. I do not see it as just a small level of criminality. If it was, it shouldn't have taken us all of these years, more than 4 years now, to handle. So that school facilities have become the primary targets in a time when the North is contributing the highest poverty statistics for Nigeria, and that education is a key component for human capital development is a thing of worry. And how have we gotten to this point where it is easier for us to negotiate with people who are kidnapping and abducting school pupils than really protecting these facilities, protecting the Nigerian people from these crimes and criminal elements? The president have been giving us assurances. We have been taking his word strongly. In fact, I would want to say that the president, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is himself a retired Major General of the Nigerian Army, have been talking to Nigerians since 2002 or thereabout. Until date, he has been doing so now in a capacity as president. The difference is what we want to see. Action. Let him lead this fight from the front. We are thankful we have had strong words from him to the armed forces. We want to see this thing at that point where the common man can really say that the president is interested and is interested in the security of his people. And that is actually something that has to be really evidenced by how soon this insecurity challenge is surmounted.
All right. I would have loved to go on, but let's quickly look at the last item that we have today. That's the NUJ that condemned the remarks of Sheikh Gumi, who said that journalists are criminals. I'd like to start this time around from Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. What would be your reaction to this?
I have always considered that people who are offended by free press are actually people who feel that their interest will not actually sell in a free society. And the attack on the media is indeed unfortunate. I may have my own misgivings concerning the media, but it is not as much as saying that the media is not giving a good reportage of the situation in Nigeria. I think that the media is underreporting insecurity and is trying to manage the kind of chaos and crisis that we're having. And people like Sheikh Gumi should not take that sense of responsibility for granted.
Eddie Ochigbo?
Thank you. You asked me a question. I don't know. I don't want to comment because I commented some few days back over this matter of the pronouncement of Gumi on the matter of clemency, or what do you call it now, compensating, bringing them back. That's criminals, forgiving them because his argument is that they have been forgotten by the government, and I begin to wonder. So they are the only people that they have been forgotten, you know. So it's very, very sad that such a statement will come from a cleric, a medical doctor, a retired army captain of repute, who has been respected, you know, all over who is being respected over the country, to come and say that journalists are criminals. What was he thinking? Through what was he using to think? Is what I you know, I don't want to repeat Ojuku's statement over a matter. What was he thinking, and through what was he thinking? First and foremost, who followed him to report all the entities that he made towards the criminals, and how did the people come to know that Gumi actually went to negotiate? Who reported it? Journalists. So criminals reported what he was doing positively in his own thinking. So if you weigh some of these things, it makes no sense to me. It's quite unfortunate that has come, and I quite commend our president, Chris Isikwizo.
Yes.
Well, he said, I'm in full support of it. The guy has actually he has blacklisted himself, and I know that journalists will not begin to give him that kind of respect that formerly, if he wants to talk, will run.
Yeah.
Now he has to sweat before he can get the coverage of news events in Nigeria, because he made himself to be so.
Yeah.
He has made himself a pariah person who is supposed to be avoided, because we don't really know what he's thinking about, all his negotiations and what he's doing. People do not trust what he's doing now. So it's quite unfortunate, and it shouldn't have come for a person like that.
All right, you can start to prepare to send in your comments and observations and contributions to the program. First, you go to the Invicta FM Facebook page at Invicta FM Kaduna, Invicta FM Kaduna on Facebook. You'll see the post, and you can watch the video and also follow other people that are watching the live video feeds from the studio. You can also go to the Ground Zero Twitter handle at Ground 0247, at Ground 0247, and add your voice to our conversation. Not forgetting too that the numbers to dial to be a part of the program is 081 40,000 989 and 070 87 800 989. That's 081 40,000 989 and 070-87-800-989. We have our first caller this evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening.
Hello, you're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I greet you all in the studio. My name is Musa Bala.
All right, Musa Bala, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Yes, let me quickly go to the boycott of supply of foodstuff to the south. If actually the perishable loss can be up to 10 billion, then it shows that the government program of farming is successful and the North is not poor, as presented by somebody and some people. The North is very rich. It has made an impact. And it's also very, very unfortunate that analysts are discussing the boycott, but never look at the reason behind the boycott. I had wished analysts would sit down and look at the senseless murder by a murderer of innocent children, women, and people that are doing their legal businesses in the Southwest, simply because some criminals that they share same ethnic group with them were perpetrating criminality in the Southwest and everywhere in Nigeria. I think the murderer that went ahead and killed innocent people doing their business is also worse criminal and worse murderer than the first criminal that did the work. And it's absolutely unfortunate that the Nigerian media are not discussing the reason, but rather just the boycott of the supply. Because these people did not just wake up one day and say, we are not going to supply food to you because you are so and so. They were killed. They were killed. Isn't it better to go to Niger and give them free of charge? and come back safely than to take it to the southwest. Then you'll be killed and you have something destroyed. I think we need to start thinking if we really believe that Nigeria is one, as said by somebody, and treat everybody equally. And if anybody misbehaves, we tell him to his face. But when a moderate situation like this are not being discussed, only for us to be discussing the aftermath, it's very unfortunate. And for Gumi, I think, I'm not laughing, but the Nigerian media, probably they are getting what they have sold before. Because they are dialing with Gumi. Whenever he made statement, you presented it, or the Nigerian media presented it the way they like, on only the ground that he hit the entire Nigerian problem on the doorstep of Mr. President. And if the Nigerian media have been threatening or have been explaining careless talk like that of Gumi that happened before in Nigeria, probably we will have expected more. It is in this same country that a whole Christian organization, actually the federal government, that they are collabing with bandits to kill Christians in communities. I think it's only God that is keeping this country back, not the importance of our media houses. I thought they will come out and say no to that. And it is in this country that a clergyman calling for a coup, so telling that if the leader is not a Muslim northerner, what is he mean? Countries are insulting statements that are dividing the country. But the Nigerian media decided not to take it serious, not until another religious leader made another careless statement by saying that Christian soldiers are the ones killing the country. I think the bandits are not killing Muslim people. So you can see how the contribution of the media in this country are keep dividing Nigeria or not informing people. They choose which one to detect and decide to close their eyes on which one to stop. I think the media has a very work to do in either build or they destroy. And let me tell you all, Nigeria government, Buhari will leave government in the next 3 years. And we will be starting with the responsibility of how to reduce the damages with the legacy done simply because of we don't like one man. God save Nigeria. Good evening.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bala. You made your comment and you made your piece. Well, we'll move on with the program, but I appreciate it if we stick to what we are talking about, really, sincerely. Hello. Good evening. You are welcome to Ground Zero.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. And everybody in the studio here.
All right. Hello.
My name is Comrade Gabriel.
All right, Comrade Gabriel. Yes, I can hear you now.
It's very good to personally criminals. Because that's why I admire the executive governor of Kerala State. Because the governor that did not, he said it happened that did not support what he said the governor of Kerala State. And when the Nathan governor left, they still support that these people are saying that they not do criminals. And you can see what even happened with the people are speaking their minds. What Gumi was going on, does that stop the kidnapping? They even kidnap more than what it is. Maybe the president of Kaduna governor is what this special agency they are now in Kaduna, nobody knows. But what we are saying that when people come to intervene, how can somebody go inside the bush, come back and say the government is what on the ground, and the government is just sitting and looking? They're supposed to make sure that this man is being interviewed, arrested. It's not a bad thing to arrest him, interrogate him, and say, are you already working for the Nigerian people or what?
All right.
Because the comment is not good. Even the comment he made about the Nigerian army that are killing the insurgents, it was a very bad statement.
Comrade Gabriel, let's talk about the issue concerning his direct attack on journalists or any other thing directly. Let's not deviate, please.
Okay, the journalists are not criminals. That's my stand.
All right.
Secondly, the food, not food supply to the southern part of the country is very unfortunate. I think the people should sit down and think we are one, and Nigeria will continue to remain one in Jesus' name. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Gabriel. Let's take this other call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Hey, Chibo and Danjuma, I greet you.
Thank you very much, Kure.
Thank you. Issue of Mr. President saying that that kidnapping of Niger girls or Zamfara girls in school, that should be an end. I was expecting him to declare all this kidnapping, bad thing, harder crashes, and other things that he is number one citizen, that he can make that thing to stop immediately. But they revised the case. Let him declare these people terrorists. That's just that, so that we will know which part they belong to. Because it seems to me these people are not Nigeria. If they are true Nigeria, I don't think all this thing that is happening, they will really want it to be happening. Because me, I see no reason why they will negotiate with them. If they negotiate with them, what will they tell me? Me that they kill my senior brother wife. What will they tell me? Are they going to buy a mansion for me in America so that I'll forget what had happened? So me, I don't want anything pertaining negotiation. That's just the plain truth about it. They should give them what they deserve, since they don't have human feeling. About the Gumi, honestly, I saw this thing coming. I know at the end of the day, one must blame another person. Because I said it earlier than now, that Gumi will have looked for other scholars. Even those that don't have religion, let them go there to hear this thing with their ear. But Gumi refused. At the end of the day, he ended up accusing some people, which is not supposed to be so. After all, nobody invited him to be there. You feel that he's taking the message to them. Why blaming another people again? So we should just do what will help us in this country. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kure. Let's take this last call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening to the guest in the studio.
Yes, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
From Malabang.
All right.
Honestly, your guests have really done justice to the topic. Concerning the blockage of food stuff to South, they should go on with it. At least they are the one losing their hard-earned farm produce. But the unfortunate thing is that the people that is in charge of that order are not farmers. They are just using organization to cheat the farmers from the north. How many foodstuff are they buying from the farmers? And they are blocking the farmers from making their money. And come to the Gumi aspect, he should tell Nigerians the truth. Instead of blaming the media must do their work, no matter who is concerned. He should tell us the truth, whether he's the patron or not. Something is fishy, and God will surely reveal what is behind this insecurity before 2025. And our president saying that will be the last. That is his word, and his word is always as he used to say it. Nothing will happen that will stop this. It might happen any day. He's just saying it for people to feel happy that they have president. He cannot stop it.
All right, Francis, you've made your comment. Thank you so much. Let's come to the studio now and quickly give our parting shots. I'll start from Eddie Ochibo. What will be your parting shot on the program today?
Thank you very, very much, and my major parting shot is addressed directly to Musa Bala, his contradiction and the contradiction of Gumi, who is now painting black. You know, I expected that Musa Bala will, rather than embrace two wrongs to make a right, address issues frontally, condemn issues raised by Gumi. Rather, Musa Bala is agreeing with Gumi that we are criminals. He is now disassociating himself from Gumi. So how can Musa Bala reconcile that too? And that's what I want to do. You say, okay, Gumi has been a problem, but this same guy who is a problem, he called us, criminals, and you didn't condemn it. And on one hand, you are now blaming it on journalists. And I told Musa Bala on this very show sometime last year that he operates like an enemy of the press. He doesn't like anything that comes from the press and the civil society organization. And I don't know why. These are the people who are keeping this country. That's the truth. And it's quite unfortunate that while you agree on one hand, then you disagree and you cannot reconcile. Let him reconcile what Gumi has said about journalists and his vituperations on Gumi for all he has said before.
All right. Danjuma Abbas.
Well, I want to say that the The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is clear. It has empowered the government to ensure the security of lives and property of Nigerian citizens. And Nigerians have so far been loyal to ensure that they have paid in full the salaries and remunerations of the people whom they have saddled with this responsibility. And it is in the best interest of the citizens that the services should be delivered. We know that the government is going through a trying time, but we have always said all of these issues right before now. And for us, we want to see a government who says we are taking caution and we are taking learning from this entire development to know that a stitch in time saves 9.
All right. That's about the size of the program today. We have not been able to go to the social media portals to bring you some of the comments and observations made by listeners right on here and those following us on our various social media handles. But I'll tell you one thing. Even after the program, the conversation continues. You can go to any of our social media handles and also make your contributions. Okay, let's quickly sneak this in. Just a last word from Abdul Bako Usman. 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, I would have loved to be part of this program. Honestly, if not for anything, if Sheikh is having a free hand to meet bandits for negotiations and governors are meeting bandits for settlements and what have you, why is it that our security apparatus like the police, the army, are not finding access to get to those bandits? Something is wrong somewhere. We need to put it right.
We need to put it right, Abdul Bako. Let's hang it there, because on the next edition of the program, I would invite you and you come and also tell us your mind and try to put it right. Until on Saturday when I'll be on for another package of Ground Zero, I'll tell you like always that whatever your labors and aspirations in this noisy confusion of life, learn to keep peace with your soul with all the sham, drudgery, and broken dreams. It's a beautiful world that we live in. Be careful, strive to be happy. I am Ehis Admon. Call me the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction.